Sudan's economy reached its peak of 6.1% during the early 2000s, mainly due to oil proceeds. Despite losing 75% of its revenues following South Sudan's secession in 2011, Sudan's economy is showing signs of recovery and reached 3.1% in 2014. However, conflict, governance, poverty, and debt remain Sudan's long-term challenges.
The main effect was the resource gap created by the secession due to the loss of the oil revenue, which represent more than 50% of our resource budget revenue, and which also represent more than 75% of our foreign revenue, foreign resource revenue, because of the export of oil. So that created a resource gap and some problems in the foreign reserve drop drastically, of course, of the foreign reserve. So that was the main effect, the resource gap. The key sectors, of course, to the economy. After that, the oil, because the oil was the key sector before the secession. It remains so for of course, with the agriculture and the service sector. So these are the main key sectors to the economy after the secession.
The World Bank's latest country economic memorandum identifies key challenges in Sudan's economy and proposes some recommendations to help unleash the country's economic potential.
The country economic memorandum is aiming to help Sudan transition its economy away from natural resources like gold and oil. To do this, the CEM is reviewing past history and past policies of Sudan and compares them with successful other economies. The ultimate goal is to propose solutions that can be applied in the local context. There's a number of key findings of the CEM, but let me focus on maybe three of them. The first one, I think, that's really important is the finding that there is no structural change so far recognized in Sudan. The majority of people are still employed in traditional agriculture sectors, and the number of people working in higher level manufacturing activities is really, really small. The other key finding is that high and volatile inflation in Sudan was really persistent over the past decades, especially in food inflation. And this particularly hurts the poor because they spend a lot of their money on food items, and that's why food inflation hurts the poor. A third finding is that there's a long history of overvalued exchange rates in Sudan. And this is a problem because it erodes international competitiveness of Sudanese products on international markets. And it is also an important explanation of the low performance of Sudanese exports that is observed in the country economic memorandum. I think the real biggest challenge in Sudan currently is the extremely low productivity in agriculture. This means low incomes to the farmers and the need to import food products. But it also is a root cause for low levels of agriculture exports, and it also means foregone foreign exchange earnings because of this low levels of exports.
Diversifying the economy is highlighted as the most important tool for overcoming some of the challenges the country faces. Specifically, the country economic memorandum recommends that Sudan considers devising consistent monetary and fiscal policies and ensuring a more competitive real exchange rate in order to promote yield and export growth, introducing new policies to increase agricultural productivity, improving the management of its natural resource rents, addressing constraints in the business environment in order to promote the development of an agro-processing and light manufacturing sector, and producing an educated and skilled labor force to support structural change.
The hope is that the findings of the report could be recognized in Sudan and eventually could help for a policy change in various areas, most notably probably in agriculture, as this is really the key sector for the poor people. The majority of people are employed in the agriculture sector, and if it was possible to increase productivity and by increasing productivity, increasing the income of the agriculture population, one could really make a big step forward in terms of poverty reduction.
Findings, we believe that the diversification is one of the main also objective and recommendation, a result of the CAM, and I think also the issue of production, which also matches with our 5-year program. I think that also was part of the CMM, including also the poverty reduction and the social protection. I think all where the main objective, of course, is the economic stability, and we believe that that's the main goal. And one of the recommendation, we all as we put it as the main objective of our macro policies, and that also stem from the CEM, and we think that the current national dialogue, also because we are talking about stability, so that we want to also put all people together so that we make real stability in all parts of our country for through this national dialogue, increase the participation of population, so that we make sure that the objective of our reform program, our economic reform program, will be achieved for the stability of our economy and growth of our economy, and the share of growth with all the community, with the objective of also reducing poverty.